Mm-mm. Happy Sunday school, everyone. This is Sunday school at its finest, huh? How is everyone's Sunday going? It's a Sunday. It's summer solstice. Happy summer solstice on this beautiful Sunday, June the 21st. So, we're going to get into the lesson in just a moment. Our lesson today is about woman and feminine or feminine. I say man or woman, feminine or feminine. We're going to discuss that today. This will be our demonstration for today's Sunday school. Okay, so we're going to unpack the feminine aspect of the divinity in creation and governance while addressing how these concepts are sometimes overly personalized into a single person rather than understood as a universal states, principles, or laws. Most importantly, we want to use this to ground the concept of nationality and bring our people back to a unified foundation because it's so important. A lot's going on in the world, we know. Every day things are changing. We're finding out different things on a daily basis. Um, but how you move, is so important. And what you need to be doing even from this point on. So we want to bring this together for today. So to help build on this solid, unshakable demonstration, we're going to bring some references down. We're going to use some references. So we're going to break down references from the Circle 7 Quran, the Geneva Bible, and the Holy Quran of Mecca, framed to show the macro principle of the feminine nature. Okay, so we want to show this feminine nature and what this woman is, because a lot of times we get so caught up in personalities or people that we don't realize that this is a energy, that it's more than that. But we want to put a person to a thing, if that makes sense, right? But a lot of times we get so caught up in praising the person that we're forgetting, but we're gonna go there, that we're forgetting something. So what I first want to say before we start, that all meetings are to be open and closed promptly according to the Circle 7 and love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Can we all stand as we recite our Moorish American prayer? We're going to turn to the east as going within. We'll put up 5 fingers on the left, two on the right, with our heels touching one another. Islam. Repeat after me. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation by night and by day through his holy prophet, Drew Ali. Amen. Islam. Islam. I want to first rise, giving the highest praises to our Father God Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Also rising, giving my highest praises to the Mother Allah, which is the highest self, the mother of the virtues, the harmonies of life that breeds justice, mercy, love, and right. I want to give honors to all the divine prophets for all the wonderful works that they brought into us. Giving honors to all throughout this diaspora, throughout this nation, that's just righteous people, righteous in their ways and their walk, and really committed to the work that Allah has set out. not based off of what religion you belong to, organization you belong to, but that you're really doing the work of Allah. Some may say that you're not because it's not based off of their control mechanism. Some may say that. But I give honors to you for out here even speaking the truth, spreading this holy bread, making sure that the people know. Because so many of us don't know. So many of us are so lost. So I give honors to those that are out there even doing the work. So honors to all of you out there, whether you're seen or unseen, whether you have one follower or a million followers. Let me tell you something. Doing the work is the most important part of it all because you don't understand who's seeing you in the ethers. It don't matter who sees you on this surface. They're a non-factor, to be honest with you. It's what's seeing you on that spirit realm, the guys that are watching you, Allah that's watching you, seeing that you're being a faithful servant to what you stand on, that you're standing in your truth, and you're not allowing no one to write your story because every man must worship under his own vine and fig tree. Every man must return to his own. Every nation must. So when you got to return to your own, worship under your own vine and fig tree, you got to look at those things from a more deeper standpoint also. Not just surface level, not seeing who you can click up with, who you may belong to, but how you really, you personally, what your personal relationship is through all of this. So I give you all honors for that. Giving honors to those that don't know, to those that are seeking and finding and wanting to find and wanting to know, wanting to tap more into themselves. Giving honors to those that are out here healing and doing the best to heal, but out here healing in their best way. So I want to give honors to all of that today for this beautiful Sunday, summer solstice at its finest. The longest, what is this, the longest day of the year? So it's going to be beautiful today. So that's what we're getting into. So the first thing, and I speak from these chapters a lot because it's going to always, you'll always need the hammer with these lessons and these instructions because people think they're so simple to understand, so simple to navigate. This becomes a personal relationship with you and Allah. So it's really not for anyone else. No one to judge and tell you what you're standing on, whether you're teaching more science or you're not. You're a scientist within yourself. And this relationship is very personal. Very personal. So I think we've gotten so caught up too with trying to belong to so many certain things that we forget how personal this is. And it's not for everybody. So the Circle 7 provides the direct foundation for understanding the feminine aspect as a universal cosmic principle. That's why I say we get caught up with the person and personality instead of the principle. And that's really what we should be more focused on, the principle. Specifically through the concept of the holy breath, the principle. So in chapter 1, right, the creation and falling of man, we're going to look closely at how Allah creates. The text speaks of the holy breath in ancient metaphysical teachings and Moorish science. The breath or spirit is inherently the feminine, receptive, and life-giving principle that moves upon the water of space to bring form into reality. The feminine, the feminine. It's a principle, not a person. The feminine is a principle, not a person. So I'm going to read chapter 1. Because in chapter 1, it's a lesson on the persona in chapter 1. So we're going to read chapter 1 as we always do. Islam. Give an honest to the word. The divine instructions from the Holy Prophet. Chapter 1, the creation and fall of man. Like I always like to say, put your name there first. Put your name there. Time never was when man was not. If life of man at any time began, a time would come when it would end. The thoughts of Allah cannot be circumscribed. No finite mind can comprehend things infinite. No finite mind can comprehend things that are infinite. So even when it comes to personalities and principles, majority of the time, that's a finite mind. And it can't understand anything that's infinite. So it can never go to understanding what the principle of the feminine really is. The principle. It's not a person. It's not a personality. It's a principle. All finite things are subject unto change. All finite things will cease to be because there was a time when they were not. The bodies and the souls of men are finite things. The bodies and the souls of men are finite things. And they will change. Yeah, from the finite point of view, the time will come when there will be no more. But man himself is not the body, nor the soul. He is a spirit and a part of Allah. Man is not the body nor the soul. He's a spirit and a part of Allah. So yesterday I was having an amazing conversation, because I want to stop right there. An amazing conversation with a mother. A mother of four, no different than I'm a mother of four. A mother of four with all adult children, with 15 grandchildren. A mother. A feminine principle, we're going to say. Not feminine because she's a quote unquote woman or a girl, if you want to say. But, hold on. Reading? Yes. You know what? I don't know what these people be calling for, but that was some with the police. I'm not supporting none of that. Okay, back to our principle. So as I say, ooh, and sometimes you know how energy could try to send things to to come in and try to mess things up. Can't allow that to happen. You take your energy back, call your power back, and send that back wherever it came from. Good one. So the bodies and souls of men are finite things, and they will change. Yeah, change from the finite view. Because I was right. That's where I was at. But man himself is not the body nor the soul. He is a spirit and a part of Allah. A spirit and a part of Allah. Creative fate gave to man, to spirit man, a soul, that he might function on the plane of soul. Gave him a body of flesh, that he might function on the plane of things made manifest. So I'm gonna, because I was saying that I was speaking to a mother yesterday, and I was on the phone with her for like 4 hours. I always have an amazing conversation with this woman, and she's very prophetic in her speaking. So she's teaching me some things, and I'm listening and just really, oh my goodness, it's beautiful. And she says, that seed that comes from the man, that's that soul. The dad provides the soul. The father provides the seed, which is the soul, right? Because man is not the body nor the soul. It's a spirit and a part of Allah. So when it says creative fate gave to man, to spirit man, a soul that he might function on the plane of soul. Gave him a body of flesh that he might function on the things made manifest. Why did creative fate give to spirit man a soul that he might function on the plane of soul? Why did creative fate give to spirit man a soul that he might function on the plane of soul? Was it? Hmm, was it to? What do you think it might have been? I'm curious to know it. That he may operate on the things made manifest, right? So I want to go to the soul of man before we continue there. And he might function on the plane of soul. So let's go to the soul of man. Let's go to the soul of man. The soul of man. An amazing chapter out of the Circle 7, too. The Divine Instructions from the Holy Prophet, chapter 38. Holy Instructions from the Prophet, the soul of man. The blessing, O man, of thy external part is health, vigor in proportion. The greatest of these is health. The blessing, O man, of thy external part is health, vigor in proportion. The greatest of these is health. What health is to the body, even that is honesty to the soul. We're wondering why creative fate gave to spirit man a soul, right? Creative fate. Why did creative fate give to soul a body of flesh that he might function on the things that are made manifest? Why did creative fate give to spirit man a soul that he might function on the plane of soul? So that's why we're in the soul of man. But even look right there where it says, what health is to the body, even that is honesty to the soul. That thou hast a soul is of all knowledge, the most certain of all truths, the most plain unto thee. Be meek, be grateful for it. Seek not to know it perfectly, it is inscrutable. So you can't seek to know the soul perfectly because it's inscrutable. Thinking, understanding, reasoning, willing. Call not these the soul? They are his actions, but they are not its essence. Raise it not too high, that thou be not despised. Be not thou like unto those who fell by climbing, neither debase it to the sense of brutes, nor be thou like to the horse and the mule, in whom there is no understanding. Search it by its faculties, know it by its virtues. There are more in number than the hairs of thy head. The stars of heaven are not to be counted with them. Think not with Arabia that one soul is parted among all men. Neither believe thou with the sons of Egypt that every man hath many. Know that as thy heart, so also thy soul is one. It's telling you about your soul right here. Why did creative fate give to man, give to excuse me, why did creative fate give to spirit man a soul that he might function on the plane of soul? Why did creative fate give to soul a body of flesh that he might function on the plane of things that are made manifest? It's telling us why. It's telling us why. Does not the sun harden the clay? Does it not also soften the wax? As it is one sun that worketh both, even so it is one soul willeth contraries. As the moon remaineth, as the moon retaineth her nature, though darkness spread itself before her face as a curtain, so the soul remaineth perfect, even in the bosom of a fool. She is immortal. She is unchangeable. She is alike in all. Health calleth her forth to show her loveliness, and application anointed her with the oil of wisdom. It's feminine. This song is still feminine. It's a principle. not a person. Although she shall live after thee, think not she was born before thee. She was created with thy flesh and formed with thy brain. Justice could not give her to thee exalted by virtues, nor mercy deliver her to thee deformed by vices. These must be thine, and thou must answer for them. Suppose not death can shield thee from examination. Think not corruption can hide thee from inquiry. He who formed thee, of thou knowest not what. Can he not raise thee from thou knowest not what again? Perceiveth not the cock the hour of midnight? Exalted he not his voice to tell thee it is morning? Knoweth not the dog the footsteps of his master? Fleeth not the wounded goat unto the herb that healeth him? Yet when these die, their spirit returneth to dust. Thine alone surviveth. Envy not to these their senses, because quicker than thy own learn that the advantage lieth not in possessing good things, but in the knowing to use them. Hast thou the ear of the stag, or were thy eyes as strong and piercing as the eagle's? Did thou equal the hound in smell, or could the ape resign in thee his taste? Or could the tortoise her feeling? Yet without reason, what would they avail thee? Perish not all these like their kindred? Hath any of them the gift of speech? Can any say unto thee, therefore did I do? The lips of the wise are as the doors of a cabinet. No sooner are they opened, but treasures are poured out before thee. Like unto trees of gold, arranged in beds of silver, are wise sentences uttered in due season. Canst thou think too greatly of thy soul? Or can too much be said in its praise? It is the image of him who gave it. Remember thou its dignity forever, forever. Forget not how great a talent is committed to thy charge. Whatsoever may be good may also do harm. Beware that thou directest course to virtue. Think not thou think not that thou canst lose her in a crowd. Suppose not that thou canst bury her in thy closet. Action is her delight, and she will not be withheld from it. Her motion is perpetual, her attempts are universal, her agility is not to be suppressed. It is at the uttermost parts of the earth. Is it at the uttermost parts of the earth? She will have it. Is it beyond the regions of the stars? Yet will her eye discover it. Inquiry is her delight. As one who traverses the burning sands in search of water, so is the soul that thirsteth after knowledge. Guard her, for she is rash. Restrain her, for she is irregular. Correct her, for she is outrageous. More supple is she than water, more flexible than wax, more yielding than air. Is there aught that can bind her? As a sword in the hand of a madman, even so is the soul to him who wanted discretion. The end of her search is truth. Her means to discover it are reason and experience. But are not these weak, uncertain, and fallacious? How then shall she attain unto it? So I want to say something about this. 26 in the soul of man. The end of her search is truth. The end of the soul search is truth. The soul only wants truth. It don't care. That's why it says the soul is even perfect in the bosom of a fool. So man is not the body nor the soul. He's the spirit and a part of the law. The soul's only search is truth. So that's how you only know. That's how you know whether a person has a soul or not. So because a sperm cell has even entered to give this spark and help this soul come into effect, this body come into effect, doesn't necessarily mean everyone comes with the soul. Everyone don't. Every seed don't have a soul in it, because every seed doesn't produce the correct way. That's even with the woman when she's pregnant with a baby. You can put a seed in the ground outside, don't mean it's going to sprout, don't mean it's going to grow. Even women when they're pregnant don't mean they're going to always go full time. But even so, with that sperm cell sparking that egg, doesn't make it say that the soul even entered in. Don't say that. It's millions of sperms. It's midnight, like it says. It could be millions, but you can't say that. Where does it say that with the Don't think that with the Egypt, that every man hath many. Think not with Arabia that one soul is parted among all men. So one soul ain't in all. No. Neither believe thou that the sons of Egypt that every man hath many. Know that as thy heart, so also thy soul is one. So it depends on the heart of that brother, the soul of that brother. What is he entering into you to create this soul, to help with this soul's essence? You have one too. But what's really going on? So the end of the soul search is truth, nothing more. And her means, if you understand that feminine principle, the feminine principle, not the personality, not a person, but that feminine principle, her is a soul. That's feminine. That's a nature of feminine. That's a principle, not a person. But are these not weak, uncertain, and fallacious? How then shall she attain unto it? That's why I say I'm not here to be validation for no one. I'm here to be the evidence that Allah is real. I'm here to be the evidence that you can direct this thing. You can direct the soul's essence. I am the evidence that man and God are one, that Allah and man are one, that I and Allah are one. I'm the evidence. So no matter what I'm going through, what I've been through, what it may look like to anyone, I'm here to be the evidence that Allah is real. The principle, the nature, the principality. General opinion is no proof of truth, because everybody has their opinion. Everybody got an opinion about somebody or something. But general opinion is no proof of truth. For the generality of men are ignorant. And it's the truth. I got a call that someone placed someone that I used to deal with on social media and called him a culprit, right? So I wanted to see what the post was, because I was very interested in knowing, like, why is he a culprit? So when I asked the brother I went to be his friend, because I was just being nosy, y'all, because I wanted to see the post myself. So this brother comes on. I guess he's a sheik, whatever he is. I don't know. All these people look like old pimps to me. Whatever be going on with them, I don't know. And I think he just got in some trouble not long ago. So for you to be calling anyone out is just beheaves me that you're supposed to be a leader of a temple. But he comes in and says, that's not moral science. Let me tell you something. Your opinion means nothing. And that's why he was unfriended again. I said, dang, I did unfriend this dude because he's very disrespectful. So I had to remember, I did unfriend this person by trying to be nosy, because I'm like, well, why would he call him a corporate? But general opinion is no proof of truth, for the generality of men are ignorant. Straight up it is. Perception of thyself, the knowledge of him who created thee, the sense of worship thou owest unto him. Are not these plain before thy face? And behold, what is there more than men needed to know? What more that you need to know? We want to know everything. We think we're going to know everything. No, that's the problem. This is the problem of the separation of what we be doing when we want to put a person or a personality in front of a principle, when all these things are principles. Even the prophet's instructions are principles. And the prophet as a principle, not as a person. Because what is a prophet? A prophet is a thought of Allah manifested in flesh. So it's a principle of a thought manifested in flesh, not a person, not what you're in love with, that body. It's a principle. So hear now, O protoplast, and earth and plant and beast. Hear now, ye creeping things of earth, ye fish that swim, ye birds that fly. Hear now, ye winds that blow, ye thunders and ye lightnings of the sky. Hear now, ye spirits of the fire, of water, earth, and air. Hear now, O everything that is, or was, or evermore will be. For wisdom speaks from the highest plane of spirit life, and wisdom is feminine principle. Man is a thought of Allah. All thoughts of Allah are infinite. They are not measured up by time. For the things that are concerned with time begin and end. The thoughts of Allah are the everlasting of the past unto the never-ending days to come. And so is man, the spirit man. But man, like every other thought of Allah, was but a seed that held within itself the potencies of Allah, just as the seed of any plant of earth holds deep within itself the attributes of every part of that especial plant. So spirit man, as the seed of Allah, held deep within himself the attributes of every part of Allah. So this is where I go back to the conversation with the mother that I had. Spirit man is the seed of Allah, held deep within himself the attributes of every part of Allah. So in these sperm cells, every part of Allah, the attributes of every part of Allah should be there. Attributes of it. Now, seeds are perfect, yeah, as perfect as the source from which they come. As perfect from which in the source they come. But they are not unfolded until life made manifest. The child is as perfect as the mother is. So even when we're looking at that, and that's a deep one too. Seeds are perfect. Yes, perfect is the source from which they come. So the source from which they come, was that seed perfect in that source from which they come? Because not only from the source in which they come, once they come into you, they are not unfolded until life made manifest yet. The child is as perfect as the mother is. The child is unfolding. The child is unfolding within the mother from the time that sperm hits. So is the father in alignment? Just because he gave you that seed does not mean that that seed was perfect. It does not mean. It carries in it all the attributes of Allah, but it don't mean it's perfect. Because it's as perfect as the source from which it comes from. Yeah, seeds are perfect, but they're only as perfect as the source from which they come from. But that don't mean they're unfolded just because it came from that source. Doesn't mean it has unfolded. So man, the seed, must be deeply planted in a soil that he might grow. Unfold as does the bud unfold to show the flower. The human seed that came forth from the heart of Allah was full ordained to be the Lord of the plane of soul and of the plane of things made manifest. So Allah, the husbandman of everything that is, threw forth this human seed into the soil of soul. It grew apace, and man became a living soul, and he became the Lord of all the kingdom of the soul. Hark now, let every creature hear. The plane of the soul is but the ether of the spirit. You hear that? The plane of the soul is but the ether of the spirit. Plane vibrating not so fast. And so in the slower rhythm of this plane, the essence of life are manifest. the perfumes and the odors, the true sensations, and all of love manifests. So as it's coming into these odors and these perfumes are coming, you're smelling this. This is how it's unfolding. This is the unfoldment. As these soul attributes became a body beautiful, a multitude of lessons man must learn upon the plane of soul. So just because these soul attributes became a body beautiful, a multitude of lessons man must learn upon the plane of soul. Every man, it doesn't matter, each and every one of us. And here he tarries many ages until his lessons are all learned. I always say that that's even coming through your children. They're your reincarnation. So whatever lessons you didn't learn, they're coming back to learn the lessons you didn't. They're coming back to learn the lessons you didn't. And they're going to learn those lessons. Nothing you can do to stop it either, because it's a lesson you must learn. So you have to come back to learn these lessons. How are you coming back to learn these lessons? Upon the boundary of the plane of soul, the ether began to vibrate slower still, and then the essence took on a final guard. So you hear that, right? The ether begins. So this is the soul coming out. It's tarrying many ages until his lessons are learned. Upon the boundary of the plane of soul, the ether began to vibrate slower still, and then the essence took on a final guard, which is this body. The perfumes and the odors and the true sensations and the all of love were clothed in flesh, and man was clothed in flesh. Perfected man must pass through all the ways of life, and so a carnal was full manifest, a nature that sprang forth from fleshly things. Without a foe, a soldier will never know his strength. So without a foe, if you go through life with no foes, you'll never know your strength. You'll never know. And we must fight foes on many different levels. This earth plane, the soul plane, many foes we fight on that soul plane, and many, many more we fight on the soul plane. So nobody is abstract from fighting this thing. Because as a soldier, you a soldier for Allah, you must know your strength. And you're not going to know your strength of being a soldier for Allah if you go through nothing. If you have no testimony to tell, you'll never know what being a soldier is really like. And thought must be developed by the exercise of strength. Your thought will only be developed by the exercise of strength. There's no getting around these things, y'all. If you come onto this earth plane, if we birth into this earth plane, they're coming to learn lessons. This is a lesson plane. No matter what, they're gonna learn lessons on this plane, because this is just a fallen state. Even when we bring they've fallen. These are fallen states. They're coming into this earth to learn and tarry many ages until the lessons are learned. And so this carnal nature soon became a foe that man must fight, that he might be the strength of Allah made manifest. Let every living thing stand still and hear. Man is the Lord of all the planes of manifest, of protoplasm, of mineral, of plant, of beast. But he gave up his birthright just to gratify his lower self. Man, whether it's a woman, a male, a female, or whatever, is still a man. A human being is still a man. Everybody gave up their birthrights just to gratify their lower selves. Whether you a girl, you a boy, whatever you might decide you want to be, whatever body you want to be in, it doesn't matter. You gratified your lower self to do these things. Whether you changed yourself from being what you were when you were born to change yourself to being something you are now. You gave up your birthright to gratify your lower self. Nobody else did that. That's where we got to get to the truth at. Nobody else gave up their birthright. You gave up your birthright to gratify your lower self. But man will regain his lost estate, his heritage, but he must do it in a conflict that cannot be told in words. You're going to do it in a conflict that cannot be told in words. You might try to find the words to explain. You might try to find an excuse for any of that, but this will not be told in words. It can't. Yeah, he must suffer trials and temptations manifold, but let him know that the cherubim and the seraphim that rule the stations of the sun and the spirit of the mighty Allah who rule the solar stars are his protectors and his guides. And they will lead to victory. Man will be fully saved, redeemed, perfected by the things that he suffers on the plane of flesh and on the plane of soul. When man has conquered carnal things, his garb of flesh will then have served its purpose well, and it will fall, will be no more. So that garb of flesh, this garb of flesh that everybody gets so in love with, look how pretty I am. Ooh, my body improvements. Ooh, look at this, look at that. When you are fully saved and redeemed and perfected by the things you suffer on the plane of flesh and on the plane of soul, when you have conquered these carnal things, this garb of flesh will then have served its purpose well, and it will fall and will be no more. It will be no more. So the garb of flesh, when it falls off, will you be an alien? Who knows? Who knows what this looks like? Who's to say? You just got a meat suit on that's making you look like this. Is that really the way you look on the inside? As pretty as your face is, as handsome as your face is, does the inside say the same thing? Because the makeup on the outside can always be one thing. People get that construed. Oh, he fine, so he must be. No, not necessarily. Oh, she bad, so she must be. No. The ones you overlook the most, those are the ones. But we get so caught up with the way people look and the things, you get caught up in that. And I know because I did things on purpose just to see how much people get caught up in the way people look. That's why I exposed my relationship. I just wanted to see how people were going to be reacting. Because I'm not the type to expose no relationship. But people were really showing their hand and showing, they were truly showing themselves as I needed them to. So that's why I say, man will be fully saved, redeemed, perfected by the things he suffers on the plane of flesh and on the plane of soul. When man has conquered these carnal things, so this carnal desire that we all get caught up in, this garb of flesh will be no more. It will have served its purpose. Then he will stand untrampled on the plane of soul. He or she. That's the way I need to put it. Where he must full complete his victories. Unnumbered foes will stand before man upon the plane of soul. So as I said, you fighting foes on this earth plane. You gonna get to that soul plane and you got unnumbered foes. You don't even know they coming. They coming so much. I go back to what Rizza Islam said. Can you fight? Can you fight 30, 40 people coming at you at one time? Because those are those unnumbered foes that you will stand before on this plane of soul. These we must overcome. Yeah, overcome every one of them. Thus, hope will ever be our beacon of light. There is no failure for the human soul, for Allah is leading on and victory is sure. Man cannot die. The spirit man is one with Allah. And while Allah lives, man cannot die. When man has conquered every foe upon the plane of soul, the sea will have full opened out, will have unfolded into the holy breath. This holy breath. The garb of soul will then have served its purpose well, and man will need it nevermore. So even that garb of soul will have served its purpose well. So what's left but spirit? And it will pass and be no more, and man will then attain unto the blessedness of perfectness and at one with Allah, because that spirit of Allah is one. Allah and man are one, not two, not three, they're one. So to go back to this, so we're gonna closely look at how Allah creates. So in chapter 1, the text speaks of the holy breath and ancient metaphysical teachings. You just heard me say that. And more is science. The breath or spirit is inherently the feminine receptive and life-giving principle that moves upon the waters of space to bring form into reality. So, as I said, this is a principle, not a person. The spirit is inherently the feminine receptive and life-giving principle. It's a principle. The lesson on persona. So, man in chapter 1 is not a singular physical male person named Adam. The text states that the human seed that came forth from the heart of Allah was foreordained to be the Lord of the plane of soul and of the plane of things made manifest. This is a collective state of being, the higher self, not an individual man. Let's get it. The higher self, not an individual man. So I'm going to go back and say it again. The human seed that came forth from the heart of Allah was foreordained to be the Lord of the plane of soul and of the plane of things made manifest. This is a collective state of being. The higher self, not an individual man. I had to say that twice. Also, when we go into the Aquarian Gospel, and I told you we're going to go into a couple of these teachings. Chapter 1 through chapter 19. And this is the Aquarian Gospel. So it looks at the descriptions of goddess wisdom, Sophia. Throughout Yeshua's travels and lessons in Egypt and India, wisdom is explicitly personified as feminine. Here we go, okay? It's still a principle, though. The key concept. Wisdom is the mother of the virtues. Definitely. The higher self is that. Wisdom is that. I just spoke that out of chapter 1, out of the Holy Quran, the circle 7. So it's still, even in the Aquarian Gospel, still going back to tell you, wisdom is the mother of the virtues. The higher self is the mother of the virtues, the harmonies of life that breeds justice, mercy, love, and right. When people reduce these principles to literal human individuals, they lose the law behind them. The feminine is the womb of manifestation. The feminine, the feminine. It's a principle, not a person. Which applies directly to why a nation cannot be born without reclaiming the mother principle, nationality, following the line of the mother. The child is only as good as the mother is. You are what your mother is. Period. You are what your mother is. What you are. But see, we want to reduce this to a human. And this is what goes wrong. This is why the men, because they hear man in the Quran, they hear man in the Bible, they hear man, and they think it's only them. So they think they're the ones that are supposed to rule everything. But man don't mean male necessarily. It's a duality of nature there. And it's just the way it's being used in context. And everyone has been taking that out of order, period. It's the principle that matters. That's what you fight in principalities. Not persons. You're fighting principalities. Principles and principalities. That's what's being fought right now. So I want to go to the Geneva Bible. The 1599 Geneva Bible. So looking at wisdom literature in this one provides the exact linguistic and historical links needed to connect the Bible to Moorish teachings. Proverbs chapter 8 of the Geneva Bible translation. In this chapter, wisdom, which they refer to as Hokmah in Hebrew, and I might not be saying that correctly, speaks directly in the first person, and she is entirely feminine. Proverbs 8:20 through 30 describes wisdom as being there before the earth was made. The Lord has possessed me in the beginning of his way. I was set up from the everlasting. She is described as a master workman at God's side. So this is out of the Geneva Bible translation, Proverbs chapter 8. So the point of this is a cosmic principle of structure, law, and nurturing care. It proves that the masculine only image of God taught in modern spaces is incomplete and historically inaccurate. We get that? So this masculine only image of God that everybody wants to still gravitate to is incomplete and historically inaccurate. So the wisdom of Solomon, as the often included in the Geneva printings, the Apocrypha. So we're going to look at wisdom at 7:25, 7 verse 25 through 26. It calls wisdom the breath of the power of God and a pure influence flowing from the glory of the Almighty. This connects back to the holy breath. This connects perfectly back to the holy breath, in chapter 1 of the Circle 7 Quran. And it does. Wisdom, the breath of the power of God, and a pure influence flowing from the glory of the Almighty. So when we look at wisdom, we're going to go back and say, what does it say? Wisdom speaks from out of the highest plane of spirit life. Wisdom, feminine, in principle. It should be your nature. So now I want to round out these references and show the universal nature of the truth. So you can draw from, I'm going to draw from the Arabic Quranic roots, focusing on how the creative womb maps to the divine nature. So Surah An-Nisa, the woman, Surah 4:1. O mankind, fear your Lord, who created you from one soul and created from its mate and dispersed from both of them many men and women. The key concept. The Arabic word used for one soul is nafs, Nafs, singular collective soul, which is grammatically feminine. All of humanity comes out of feminine spiritual origin before splitting into physical genders. I'm trying to tell you, this is about to debunk everything y'all ever thought about anybody that you thought was a woman or a man. Because you put your own definition on what that meant. And not looking at principle whatsoever. Just looking at something from the physical standpoint, which is nothing but you're blinded. You're blinded by it. The divine names Al-Rahman and Al-Rahim Every chapter of the Quran opens with these names, usually translated as the most gracious, the most merciful. The root law, both names stem directly from the Arabic root word RHM, which is Raham, which literally means the womb. The very nature of Allah's mercy and grace is explicitly described using the metaphor of a mother's womb, shielding, nurturing, sustaining, and bringing forth life. It is an encompassing state, not a singular human personality. Ooh, let me read that again. The very nature of Allah's mercy and grace is explicitly described using the metaphor of a mother's womb, shielding, nurturing, sustaining, and bringing forth life. It is an encompassing state, not a singular human personality. So I want to bring this back home and unify the nationality and weave these threads together into a singular, cohesive message. So shifting from the person to the principle, because that's what we got to do. We got to shift all of this from the person to the principle. No matter what we're doing in life, it must be a principle behind it. Not because a person represents it, but because the principle is right. Because a lot of times these people representing these so-called principles are all wrong. They don't even realize what they're doing in destroying what has been built. That's why the prophet said, I brought you something you can't tear up. It's going to tear you up. And now I see it more and more and more as I go. So we're going to shift from the person to the principle. When the scripture describes these states as persons, it is an allegory to help our minds comprehend them. If we mistake the person for the principle, we end up worshiping personalities instead of practicing the divine law. And I can see that. We'll worship personalities all day long. That's why I love my teacher, Brother John. I love him. Because even when we give honors at the Holy Temple, I'm going to love him forever. He is going to be my teacher forever. He says, we honor all the divine prophets for all the wonderful works they brought unto us. So never to bring one into existence, but say all of them. Allah, bind our hearts and minds together as thou did in ancient times. Not to give a person, a singular person, something. Stop going to these, where they say, stop going to these cemeteries where you keep thinking these people are. You're in love with the person. What about the principle? This principle is what's important. We get so caught up in personalities that we lose the principle behind everything we claim we stand on. So we start worshiping these personalities. Oh, I'm going to go see Prophet Noble Drew Ali's grave. Prophet Noble Drew Ali ain't there. That principle ain't there. The principle of what the Prophet Noble Drew Ali stood for is not there. The principle is still out in the ethers because that spirit's still moving. The matrix of nationhood, the matrix of nationhood. You cannot have a recognized nationality without a defined land, a pedigree, and a clear lineage. Legally and spiritually, the mother is the gatekeeper of lineage. The mother. Mother, I'm a mother. Feminine in principle, baby. Feminine in principle. Because I'm going to tell you what the difference is in just a minute. By showing that the feminine aspect is the cosmic law of structure, mercy, and manifestation, the holy breath, wisdom. It can show that respecting and understanding the feminine nature is a strict requirement for nation building. And this is what we should be teaching the youth. Respecting and understanding the feminine nature in principle. In principle. Because as a person, if we put feminine with a woman or anything else, there's no principles. There ain't nobody got no principles. Now we twerking and putting our business all out in the streets the way we do. That's not a principle. You're in love with that person. You're in love with that energy, not the principle. So I wanted to break down clearly in this because I think we get it twisted with woman and feminine. We get it twisted because I'm about to show you where these are principles and not necessarily persons. Okay? Okay. So we're going to look at these words through three distinct lenses: etymology, the root meaning; law, nationality; and metaphysics, the spiritual principle. The confusion in the world happens because people use these words interchangeably, but they operate on completely different levels of reality. Here is how we're going to present this difference to bring this clarity back home. So, woman, the physical, national, and legal entity. When we say woman, we are talking about the manifested physical being and her status within a family, a nation, and the law. The etymology, the word woman, comes from the Old English wifman. Wif means female or wife, associated with weaving the womb and binding things together. Man in ancient times didn't mean a male. Man in ancient times didn't mean a male. It meant a human being, mankind. So etymologically, excuse me, a woman is a womb human. A woman is a womb, meaning womb, WOMB, human. The national and legal aspect in the context of nation building and Moorish science, the woman is the foundation bedrock. She is the matrix through which a nation reproduces its pedigree, lineage, and nationality. You cannot have a sovereign nation without a recognized, respected physical woman because she holds the keys to the line of descent. Feminine, the universal principle in the cosmic state. When we say feminine, we are not talking about a person or a gender. We are talking about an abstract spiritual principle, an energy, and a cosmic law that exists in everything. It exists in everything. Like they say, God is in everything. God is in everything. Allah is in everything. The feminine is in everything. Everything that the earth reproduces and produces, the feminine principle. The feminine comes from the Latin word femina, woman, but roots back to the Proto-Indo-European dehe, which means to suckle or to nourish. The metaphysical law, the feminine principle is the receptive, nurturing, structuring, and life-giving force of the universe. It is the womb of space that receives the spark of creation and shapes it into form. I just gave that to you out of chapter 1 when it was breaking it all down. In the Circle 7 Quran, this is the holy breath. When a woman's going through labor, when she's laboring, it's all about the breathing. It's all about the breathing, not so fast. You can't go too fast, you'll pass out. Control your breathing. Like I said, I've had 4, so I know. It came out. No C-sections, no IVF, no none of that. And so that breathing is so important to eat when you're in pain. I can remember the breathing. Not so fast, slow, because you might go, you'll pass out. You got to control, right? So that's that holy breath. In Proverbs, this wisdom is hokmah. In nature, it is magnetic force, darkness, the fertile soil before light and intuition. Both male and female human beings have feminine energy within them. A man uses his feminine principle when he uses intuition, structures, and organization, or nurtures his children. The feminine is a state of being, not a physical body. So even as a man, even as a so-called man, as you would want to say, both male and female, or male, a man uses his feminine principles when he uses intuition, structures and organization, or nurtures his children. The feminine is a state of being, not a physical body. So I want to help the youth visualize this instantly. And I'm going to use this little simple breakdown because I want the youth to get this too. So the attribute, woman, feminine. So the attribute first, woman and feminine. The attribute, what is it? Woman, a physical human being, a manifestation. Feminine, a cosmic principle, an energy state of law. Attribute, domain. Woman, the earthly plane, nationality, lineage, society. Feminine, the spiritual, mental plane, wisdom, nurturing form. The Moorish context of the attribute, woman, the mother of the nation, the gatekeeper of pedigree. The feminine, the holy breath, the creative womb of Allah, Islam. The danger of personalizing these states, which I noticed in my research, is that people try to make the feminine just mean how a physical woman acts or dresses. When we reduce this feminine principle down to just human personality traits, we rob it of its power. We must teach that feminine is the law of structure and nourishment. When a nation aligns with the feminine principle, it means they are honoring the law, protecting the womb, building solid structures, and nurturing the youth. The physical woman is the sacred vessel that mirrors the cosmic law on earth. By separating the persons from the principle, we show that honoring the woman isn't just about manners. It's about aligning with the exact law Allah used to construct the universe. Islam. I hope you guys come back to view this short demonstration. It's a great demonstration, though, y'all. A great one. Because we need to know. We need to understand what honoring a principle is instead of trying to honoring something that really don't fall into the principles of what feminine is or what a woman is. because those both hold some dynamic energies. And as feminine, that nature can be male or female. So that's where y'all all got it twisted, that you don't even know the difference of what this is. You don't even know what a woman is. So it was a good thing they came out with that thing that says, what is a woman? I just gave it to you. You come back and visit this again, and you can find out what those attributes are, what they're all about. Give thanks to that. Give thanks. So now I'm going to close out by reading from chapter 25. Islam. The Divine Instructions from the Holy Prophet, chapter 25, a holy covenant of the Asiatic nation. Ye are the children of one father, provided for by his care, and the breast of one mother hath given ye suck. Let the bonds of affection therefore unite thee with thy brothers, that peace and happiness may dwell in thy father's house. And when ye separate into the world, remember the relation that bindeth us to love and unity. And prefer not a stranger before thy own blood. If thy brother is in adversity, assist him. If thy sister is in trouble, forsake her not. So shall the fortunes of thy father contribute to the support of his whole race, and his care be continued to you all in your love to each other. Islam, have a happy Sunday, happy summer solstice. 11/11, Islam. 1/11. Oh, excuse me, 1/11.